Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fortunica's View of the World. We've been on holiday for the last month, but it's great to be back with one of our favorite advisors, Hazel. This is going to be a real treat for you all because Hazel and I are going to be getting into a topic that is the most requested topic on the platform: love and relationships. How to know they are the one, how to handle the difficult breakups, and how to leave the baggage from the relationships at the last stop. Hazel, I know that you get a lot of questions about relationships ending and what do they need to do to move on. What is an important piece of advice that your guides can help with?
It's really difficult when a relationship breaks down because people don't know how to handle it. With a relationship breakdown, you're losing a part of you. You're losing an important part of your life. So in a way, this is going to sound really harsh, but this is something that you have to do to re-find yourself. You have to grieve for the person that you've lost. People say, how do I do that? This is going to hurt, but it needs to be done. Delete the person from your life. Delete the phone number, delete the email, delete photos. And I know that's going to be hard for most people, but you can't hold on to the past and move forward because that's not going to work. As most of my regular clients will know, my favorite saying is, you can't change the past, but you can dictate your future. People say, how long is it going to be before I meet somebody else? Difficult question, because that's down to you yourself. It's down to how quick you can move on, how quick you can delete the person from your life. People say, yeah, well, we split up last week and I've met somebody else. No, don't go there. You need time to heal. You need time to re-find yourself. And more important, you need time to realize your own self-worth. When a relationship breaks down, people complain of, they've said this, they've said that. You've got to find you again. You've got to find your own self-value. Again, I'm going to come across as harsh, but my clients will know I'm straight to the point. I won't beat around the bush. If you come out of one relationship where you've been told for so long, you're fat, you're ugly, you're useless, when you go into the next relationship, unless you've healed, you're going to be expecting that again, even though you know that behavior is wrong. But because you've dealt with it for so long, you're going to think it's a natural thing because that's what your mind tells you. And if you think about it, recently, there's been so much in the news about controlling behavior. You don't want to go back into another controlling relationship. So it's important that you grieve.
Okay. Grieving can take a long time. Grieving is like death. And when you break up in a relationship, it is literally the end to the relationship. So it's not so easy to just sit down and cut up all of the pictures from the loved one that you spent a long time with, deleting their telephone number, deleting their photos and Facebook connections and all of those things, because literally, while the relationship might be over, that person is still there. And to me, it sounds as if in order to heal from the grief, you have to really focus on what was bad about the relationship, what part you played in the relationship, and I almost feel as if it is a little bit harsh to just end everything that you had for the past few years in the blink of an eye. So are you saying that when the relationship ends, that you immediately cut off those things, cut off that part of your life, that part of yourself that was in the relationship? Or is this done over a period of time?
I would say over a period of time, and that's why it's going to be hard. Because if you've broken up with someone, you keep picking up your phone, you keep checking if they text you, you keep checking your emails. This is going to sound really random. When a relationship breaks down, you've also got to break the habit of waiting for that person to contact you. So what I advise is set yourself little goals every day. The first day, don't check your phone. The second day, perhaps delete the number if you feel ready for it. So you just have a little book, and it's like a little tick list that you can show to yourself how far you have come.
Well, it's kind of like journaling your thoughts and your goals to move you past a point.
Yes.
I think that's an excellent idea. I mean, you can also use that to write messages to the person, because I know when you break up from a relationship, you have all of these thoughts in your head about things you should have said or things you should have done.
Yes. Yes.
And because we all believe that we somehow could have changed things. We could have made them better. And writing these things down in your journal instead of calling them or saying, this is what I want to say, writing those things down helps you to actually do better in your next relationship.
Definitely. And by writing them down, if in a week's time you feel, oh God, I'm having a really bad day, you can go back to day one and think, well, actually, I've come so far forward, I'm on the right track. And I feel that's part of the massive healing process so that you can progress forward. And it's about, how can I explain this? When a relationship breaks up, a part of you dies because you think, how am I going to cope? How am I going to be able to do this? Or if you've been with a person for 10 plus years, maybe, that person is also in your life, but also become a habit of your daily routine. So it's about changing things up so that you don't then, right, if you was to get up, make the person's pack up for work, say good morning, which is what most people do. So when you get up, rather than go into the kitchen, go and open the curtains first. So it's about changing that bit of structure that will slowly help you to realize, well, actually, I don't need to do that now. And I've got time to do things for myself. If you think coming downstairs would be too hard, jump in the shower first, change your routine so that you've got your focus on something else.
That's really interesting, because really it only takes 21 days to change a habit.
Yeah.
And I sometimes I think that's amazing, because literally people who've been in relationships for 10 plus years have worked on those habits for 10 plus years,
Yeah.
and don't honestly know that they can change that in a short period of time. I think journaling is an excellent idea, because you actually can go back and see what things you've changed in a short period of time, and the focus shifts.
Yes.
I do worry, because I see that we have become a society of instant gratification.
Yes.
So When we get out of one relationship, we want to jump back on that horse per se, so that we're not afraid to ride a horse again.
Yes, you want to take that leap of faith, but at the same time, you can't take that leap of faith until you're completely ready to. And that's the hard thing.
You know, I have to say that, speaking from my own experience, as a young woman, I also thought that I wasn't going to let a past relationship burden me. I wasn't going to be the victim in a relationship. And so I tried really hard to show everyone that I was okay, that I wasn't affected by any breakups or anything like that. And I jumped back on that horse per se. But it really didn't, it wasn't fulfilling, because I could not actually connect with that next person, because I had a wall there.
Yeah.
That wall of pain or grief, as you put it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing to look at, sorry, Maria,
No, go
if
ahead.
you jump into another relationship, that's where you're going to feel that you have to compare the relationships together. That's one big thing. People compare their relationship to the past. Stop. That's not going to help things at all.
Especially if you haven't changed your habits.
No, no. And the other thing is, this is going to sound really strange. You have to ask yourself, why do you feel the need to be loved? You've got to love yourself before anybody else can love you. And that's a massive part of the healing process, learning to love yourself again.
I think that is an excellent point to make, because literally a lot of people get into relationships because they don't love themselves enough, and they feel that being a part of someone else's life will fill that void. And really, love should not be looked at as a void, a hole that needs to be filled. Love should be a the catalyst, the thing that makes you feel better than what you already felt, and better about yourself and better about the other person in the relationship.
It's about going with the flow, letting your next relationship that you go into, it could take 6 months, it could take 12 months, but you've learned valuable life lessons by then. And that's where you actually learn to go with the flow. You're not needy as such. You don't need love. And that's what people need to realize. Love is such a powerful thing. When it's meant to be, it will happen naturally.
And I think a good lesson that people should learn from the stories that are in the news right now: love is never something that is hurtful, abusive, or negative.
Yes, definitely.
When you are in a relationship with the right person, you both are working to improve yourselves and encourage each other.
Yes.
There should never be a negative or abusive comment about how a person does things or how a person looks, if you're in a true love relationship.
Yes.
You know, from the recent stories that have been in the news, from the celebrities who are actually put on pedestals as role models for us to look at. You know, we romanticize how these couples come together and they look so good together and everything like that. but they're human beings. And no one knows what goes on behind closed doors. But at any point in time in a relationship where there is physical violence or emotional abuse, they have to recognize that this is not healthy. This is not what a loving relationship is about. And if more of those things were put out into public, maybe people would stop romanticizing how
Yes.
love relationships are supposed to be.
And perhaps that could be a future podcast. How do you move forward from domestic violence?
Well, that's a very good idea, and that's a very strong topic, especially with everything that's going on in the world today.
And I've been through it myself, so I know how hard that is. And that's what people who come to us need to realize. A lot of us have been through very much the same as they have. So the pain they feel, we feel as well.
You know, I think this all stems from trauma,
Definitely.
and trauma from past lives that we carry with us, from our
Yes.
childhood that we carry with us. And it really is a important topic to cover, because these things are happening so frequently in our world today
And
without us even noticing it.
yeah, and that's the thing. People think, this is going to sound, how can I put this? This is going to sound controversial, but once I've said it, I hope people will understand. People don't realize there's so much domestic violence against men, not just women. You get domestic violence in same-sex couples. And I don't know if people realize, if they're a parent and they have a child living with them that attacks them, that in the UK is now also classed as domestic violence. So it's not just your partner, it could be children living within your household.
You know, this is something that we have to ask ourselves about the direction that society is moving in, because all of us are humans. We all have
Definitely.
emotions, and learning how to express our emotions, getting our feelings out, telling people about trauma situations that we've been through is something that I believe will be helpful for us.
Yes, yes. I'm going to show you something now. By the side of my laptop,
Okay.
1, 2, 3 books.
Mm-hmm.
Because once I have done a real, I won't say technical, but a real hard reading, I then have to go to my book and scribble.
Mm.
And that's how a lot of people find getting those frustrations out.
I think we need to find so many more positive ways of getting our frustrations out, and also positive ways of saying to people, you survived this.
Yes.
You are a survivor. You are no longer a victim.
Yes.
And you can use those tragic moments, those traumas, those abusive relationships as stepping stones to move you forward
Yes.
from your life. You know, those things happened to you in the past. You want to move away from them as fast as you possibly can to build a better future for yourself.
And that's the thing. People who've been through it don't know how to do those stepping stones. They don't know how to move forward. Perhaps they're too embarrassed to ask how to do it. Perhaps they haven't got any family support. There's lots of aspects as to why people are afraid to take that first step forward.
Well, you know, when you've been in an abusive relationship, you've usually the victim in the relationship has been so beat down
Yeah,
that they can't see the light for the next step.
and that's the hard thing, because you're afraid to take that
Mhm.
first step because you don't know what's in front of you. But there are so many organizations all over the world that would actually help. And if I say, hold your hand to step to a little stepping stone, because sometimes that's all you need is for somebody to say, oh, excuse me, you're going to be okay. This is how we're going to do it. Because you need that support.
I think that was a great statement that you just made, because learning to accept the support and then becoming supportive is the goal that we all should be trying to reach for.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
Wow. You know, I want to thank you very much, Hazel, because I think this has been a very deep conversation and good conversation that we needed to have.
If any of the clients feel the need to contact me about domestic violence or anything like that, I'm really open to that, because it's about showing them that they're not on their own at the same time.
That is a very good offer for you, because I see this becoming a major problem for our future. In order
Yes,
for us to actually survive as a society, we are going to have to learn to help those people through their healing moments, and become a more compassionate society. This is something that I see lacking right now.
definitely. Definitely.
Well, I want to tell everyone that if you would also like to speak with Hazel on domestic abuse, or talk with her on love and relationships and how to get through that next step, reach out to her on the Fortunica app. She is there 24/7, it feels like. She is one of our top advisors. And I want to thank you, Hazel, for this very enlightening conversation. I want to tell everyone to enjoy their day, leave the past behind you and live in the now. I'm Maria Meyer, and this is Hazel, and this is Fortunica's View of the World.